Hey guys, what's up? Again, coming at you here from Tianjin, and right now I'm in the Wudao area, which is an area with a lot of old colonial Western-style villas. Anyway, today's topic is about having a baby outside of marriage in China. And the reason I had this topic today is because I made a video a few weeks ago where I said that this is basically illegal in China. And then one of the commentators said that I had no idea what I was talking about. And I was laughing a little bit when I saw that comment, because actually I do have some personal first-hand experience about this topic, which maybe I'll do a video about another day. But essentially there are two ways to look at this topic. One is the legal, and one is the social aspects. And it's a very hot topic right now in China because of the population or the declining birth rates. So the government is looking at ways to boost the birth rates, and this is one of the topics they're talking about right now. But currently speaking, having a baby outside marriage is not technically illegal itself, so nobody will come to arrest you if you do that. When I said it's basically illegal, I meant, for example, in most cities in China, a baby born out of wedlock will not get a hukou. A hukou is basically a citizenship in the city where you live or where your parents are from. So in China you have two types of citizenship. One is the city where you live, and the other one is the country itself. And actually the most important one for your life in China, your everyday life, is the city one, the hukou. It gives you access to medical care, to education, it gives you the right to buy an apartment and things like that. It's something that is passed down from parents to child. So if your parents are from Dalian, for example, but you were born in Beijing, your hukou will still be Dalian. It will not be Beijing, only because you were born there. Wait, I will just change the camera so you can see what I'm seeing as well. If you work in a city for a long time and you're sponsored by a company and you have social security insurance, you will have like a residence permit, which gives you similar rights to a hukou. So you'll still have access to the same medical care and education as somebody with a hukou. But it's linked to your work and living in a place for a certain amount of time. And it's not something that could be passed down to your kid. And essentially all cities, they have their own rules and regulations about this. For example, in Tianjin, where I'm at right now, they wanted to have more investment here, so they actually had this program where you could buy an apartment in Tianjin and get a hukou here that way. But for example, in Beijing and Shanghai, which are perhaps the most popular cities to have a hukou in China, that's not possible. So if the baby is born outside of wedlock, it will be called heihu, or like black hukou or no hukou. And this essentially means that the child has no legal rights for education, for medical care, or social services, or even like getting an ID card to buy a train ticket or to travel overseas to get a passport. So you will be like an illegal alien in your own country, basically. This is changing gradually, so this is one of the hot topics right now that might change very soon nationwide. It has changed already in some places, like for example in Guangdong, which is the largest province in South China. They have changed this already. So it is possible there to get a hukou, even if you're born outside marriage. But for example in Beijing, it's not. So this is one aspect of how it's illegal to have a baby in China without marriage. Another one is that in order for a woman to apply for maternity insurance in China, which is basically 5 months of paid leave, she needs to have a marriage certificate in most cities, like in Beijing. And without a marriage certificate, she will not get maternity leave. So technically, if she takes leave, her company could fire her, or at least not pay her money during the time she's away. and she will not have any government support either. Also, without maternity insurance, she will not get any money back for the expenses she has in terms of medical expenses. So like medical checkups at state hospitals, or giving birth, operations, etc. Medicine will not be paid by the government. You have to pay that out of pocket. So yes, it is legal to have a baby outside marriage, technically, but the consequences is essentially the same as it being illegal. In terms of maternity insurance, that's also changing. So there was a woman in Shanghai who sued the Shanghai government, I think in 2019. And after a couple of years in court, she was actually awarded maternity insurance. And as a consequence, the rule changed in Shanghai. So in Shanghai today, it is possible to get insurance even without marriage. But in most cities in China, it's still not possible. The other aspect is the social aspect, and perhaps this is the most important one, because you can always deal with losing your salary for a few months, or paying out of pocket for medical expenses, and in many cases you can even find a way to buy a hukou somewhere, just pay some penalties. But the social aspect of having a baby outside marriage in China are very severe. It's very heavily frowned upon, essentially, in Chinese culture. It's not only here in China, but it's also the same in most of East Asia, all these countries influenced by Confucianism, like South Korea, Japan, etc., where the amount of babies being born outside of marriage is extremely low, like single-digit %. It's considered a very big shame for the family to be born outside of marriage. The woman would be looked down upon, the family would be very embarrassed. Basically, all of society would look down upon you if you do that as a woman. So you would pay a very high social price. You would become an outcast yourself, and your child would also be an outcast. And I mean, that's probably the foundation of why the laws are like this way in China. They're simply aligned with the local culture. But even if the laws change, I think that it'll take a very long time for the culture itself to change. So anyway, yeah, these are just some of what I've learned as I have been through an experience about this topic myself. And I hope you guys found it useful. And if you are a foreigner in China and you're thinking about having a baby with a Chinese person without marriage, I suggest you think twice and you really do your research about how it would work in practice. Anyway, that's all from my side today. Thanks guys, and take care. Bye bye.